And the news came in yesterday, and we thought it necessary to have this conversation as soon as possible. Um, how Nigeria can leverage the CEPA trade agreement. And at the end of the session, also we'll put it on our YouTube channel for those that might be interested in going over it again. This agreement is not new, actually. I mean, UAE have signed a couple of them with other countries. They started with India. It's been on for a while, actually. And it's good Nigeria has joined the race. I'm hoping that we'll be able to leverage on this, among other agreements that Nigeria have signed. And I think for most agreements we've signed in the past, major issue has been understanding it first of all and leveraging on the opportunity and potential that exists therein. All right. How Nigeria can leverage CEPA agreement with the UAE? So I have a preamble. I'll talk about the potential, then the propensities, the product we should focus on, the protocol in the agreement, the problems, and of course my proposal to government and to entrepreneur in Nigeria in general. So the Federal Government of Nigeria and UAE signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, otherwise called CEPA, that will transform the economic tie between the two nations and deliver tangible benefit to Nigerian business professionals. If you have gone through the paper, you'll have seen this. It was in the State House report yesterday. I think it was in Business Day and a couple of other newspapers. This agreement prioritizes market rights for Nigerian goods and services, facilitate quality investment inflow, and advance other national economic diversification. The agreement addressed long-standing impediment to foreign direct investment. You know, when I look at the way the state has put it, of course, we try to embellish it in a way that, you know, but like I often say about trade agreement, it's not enough to sign the agreement, which is why we're having this conversation, is to be able to leverage on the opportunities in this agreement. So, what does it entail in summary? For Nigeria exporter, the UAE will eliminate tariff on over 7,000 products. Immediately, agricultural products, industrial products, fish, seafood, oil, cereals, cotton, pharmaceutical, chemical, and more will enter UAE duty-free. Interestingly, majority of import into UAE before has been very low. I think mass is about 5%. So now they are making it zero. But even before now, since they don't rely so much on tax, their duty rates have always been low. Over the next 3 to 5 years, UAE will eliminate tariff on Nigerian machinery, vehicles, electrical equipment, apparel, and furniture. Nigerian industrial exports now have a clear and competitive pathway into the world's most dynamic trade hub. Nigerian business can establish operation in UAE also through new corporate entities, branches, and of course, subsidiaries. Nigerian business visitors can enter UAE for up to 90 days in 12 months to explore trade and investment opportunity, while intra-corporate transferee and managers and executives and specialists can relocate their corporate entity for a renewable 3-year period. Now, the UAE elimination provide Nigeria exporter with expanded access to a wide range of agricultural, primary, and industrial manufactured goods. Product benefiting from immediate duty-free assets include fish, seafood, oilseed, fruits, live animals, leather, cotton, pharmaceuticals. Other products include cocoa, coffee, spices, petroleum products, machineries, apparel, furnitures, and all of them will enjoy tariff removal over 3 to 5 year period. Under the CEPA agreement, Nigeria will eliminate tariff on 6,243 products imported from the UAE, while UAE will remove 7,315. So UAE is removing more than Nigeria. Nigerian tariff commitments immediately involve elimination of tariff on 3,949, which is about 63%. And in 5 years, 2,294, about 36.7%. About 123 products were excluded. Typically, you have this in most agreements We've not seen the detail of the exclusion, but because the government is trying to protect some part of the economy. Total product liberalized, 6,243. For good trade, Nigeria will eliminate tariff for 3,949 products. Now, UAE commitment, they are eliminating immediately 2,805, elimination of tariff, 38%. And then 3 years, 1,468, that's 20%. And in 5 years, 3,042, which is 41%. And total liberalized 7,315. On the part of UAE, Nigerian market access offer UAE focus largely on industrial input and capital goods with immediate tariff removal on vehicles, petroleum products, plastic, chemical, paper products. Consumer goods such as apparel, furniture, glassware, and textile will be over 3 to 5 year period. CEPA is a strategic instrument for economic transformation. Position Nigeria as a gateway for international investment. Nigeria has already recorded unprecedented participation from the UAE institutional investor, including First Abu Dhabi Bank, particularly infrastructure. Now, this is just summarizing what this agreement is about. We'll go into detail shortly. The federal government, Federal Ministry of Industry and Investment, working with MDAs like Customs, Ministry of Trade, NIPC, SON, will ensure that Nigerian business and investor hosts, and Nigerian businesses and investor will host. We have information support and facilitation they need to take swift, full advantage of this agreement in line with the President's Nigerian Force Directive. Now let's compare Nigeria and UAE. And this is interesting data for me. UAE is a 10 million people market, but with massive purchasing power. With an estimate of $502 billion economic size, Nigeria is about 250. Growth rate, 4.5 Nigeria economy, UAE 5.3. Nigeria population over 200 million. Nigerian export volume 65. So we definitely need UAE market because UAE import volume demand is over 350 billion. So we definitely UAE's market. So if you look at import per capita, you can see that even our import and export is extremely low compared to UAE. So we definitely need this agreement, need this market because of the capacity that UAE have. So let's look at the potential. Currently, as of 2023, UAE import was 378 billion. Nigerian share was about 1.4 billion. So Nigerian export to UAE is currently very low. It's a massive market. Nigerian export currently very, very low. So who are the major traders of UAE? UAE import origin, China, India, and India is the first to sign the CEPA agreement. And I will show you other countries that have signed the CEPA. Many countries have signed. I think more than 10 countries have signed the same agreement Nigeria is signed with UAE. Because UAE has made up its mind to be able to grow its export. They're doing a lot to grow their export volume. And the goal is to be among the top exporters by 2030. They're currently among the top 20, if I'm not mistaken. So, United States, Switzerland, Germany. In Africa currently, their major import origin is Guinea. Even Ghana is exporting more to UAE than Nigeria, and I guess it's because of gold. So currently, Nigerian share is extremely low, and this is laying credence to why this agreement is very necessary. I mean, I think it's very, very necessary. UAE imported products, gold is a major item of import of UAE. Gold is a major item of import of UAE. Gold, diamond, jewelry, cars, refined petroleum products, telephone, computers are major item of import of UAE right now. Now, so let's look at what does UAE currently import from Nigeria. By the way, Nigeria current export to UAE is about 1.37 as of 2023. 1.37 billion. 1.37 billion. Now, gold is a major part of that. But if you check the data of government, this data was obtained from outside Nigeria because MBS data is not very correct. MBS capture only the official data. But if you get data from outside Nigeria, you will get higher figures because countries that receive goods smuggled from Nigeria record it as import into their country. So because they report as import into their country, they are able to officially capture what Nigeria actually shipped to them. Even though from MBS data, what we are shipping is lower compared to what actually goes out. So look at gold. See what we are doing with gold. 1.25 billion. If you go and check Nigerian export, non-oil export, last year was 4 point something. This year we are targeting about 6 point something. No, last year was 5.4. This year we're targeting about 6.2 or thereabout. And you are going to see that gold is not a major part of it. Major non-oil export of Nigeria is cocoa and fertilizer. These are the major items. Gold is on the top, but it's not a major part because, like I said, it's not been documented. A lot of people are moving them out of Nigeria with helicopter and shipping it to different destinations, unfortunately. So you can see currently they also import petrol gas, crude petroleum, spices, wood charcoal. Now, wood charcoal will be a major challenge right now because wood charcoal is topping the list, but there is a total ban of wood products from Nigeria. So wood charcoal will definitely be take a hit on this. But let's expand that small part below because the idea of this agreement is to grow that small part on the lower right corner, Let me expand that. So gold, 1.25. Gas, $4.6 million. Crude petroleum, 3.7. This is what UAE currently imports from Nigeria. That's what Nigeria currently exports to UAE. Spices, coconut, Brazil nut, cashew nut, cut flowers, perfume plant, soya beans, $21.6 million. Wood charcoal, $10.7 million. Electric pulley, gas turbine, liquid pump, $2.56 million. Hide and skin, leather product, $1.36 million. Plastic product, $1.2 million. Metals, $532,000. Food item, $491. Equipment, $360,000. Chemical product, $209,000. Air, $169. Ceramic, $92,000. Clothing materials, $84,000. Even though the demand of UAE for this product are a lot more, so we are not taking a good market share, which is good because, like I said, it's now an opportunity for us to take advantage of this market because the market is now available for us with the concession already given by virtue of the current agreement that we've signed. Now, I call this propensity, and by that I mean, what are the likely implications for us? Because, they are going to ship to us also. And they are very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. The last time some years ago, they came into Nigeria, particularly Dubai, Export Dubai, that's the particular agency of government in Dubai, came into Nigeria. I was then chairman of Lagos Chamber Export Group. And we met them at Eco Hotel. And they came with about 17 exporters from Dubai. So, the normal, this kind of bilateral trade meeting, after all the talks, they set up a one-on-one session table, 17 of them at the back, for their businesses to meet Nigerian business one-on-one. And this was before COVID. I've been watching the trajectory of UAE since that time. It has been growing and growing very fast. What I mean is, in fact, the guy that came, one of the officials, eventually when I was in Dubai a year after I met him and we were discussing about their progress, and he was always traveling from one country to the other. As in, they are very aggressive to take advantage of the market they want to take advantage of. I'm saying that to say that if we are not as aggressive as they are, we might not really and truly enjoy the benefit of this CEPA agreement. And that's my concern. As good as it looks and the opportunity available therein, we might not be able to take advantage of it. They actually launched what they call Project 50 in 2021. And that's what gave birth to the CEPA agreement, Project 50 in 2021. And I think the goal was to target about 50 countries for them to be able to do business with and sign this agreement with. The first deal was signed in 2022 February with India. They have other partners, and I'll show you shortly: Israel, Indonesia, Turkey, Cambodia, South Korea, Australia, Philippines, and of course now Nigeria. Now, within the first year, they surpassed their $50 billion deal with India within the first year. Now, I'm trying to show you how aggressive they are. The fact that there are markets in Nigeria they are not able to take advantage of right now because of tariff, our common external tariff in West Africa. And I can assure you, they will enter this market aggressively because it's the agreement. I'm saying that to say that in as much as this is a mutually beneficial agreement, but Nigeria must also ensure we milk the market. I mean, they have a bigger economy than us, right? Almost times 2 of our economy. I show you the data. So we stand a lot to benefit also from them, but they are looking at the population in Nigeria. So their export, we've looked at their import. Their export, 367 billion. This is 2023. Crude petroleum, refined petroleum, telephone, gold, diamond, cars. Now, and look at what they export to Nigeria. Just about over $1 billion. What they export to Nigeria. Similar to in size of what they import from us. But I want you to check. Look at the countries they currently export to. You notice there are a lot in Asia. There is a deliberate effort by UAE to enter Africa, actually. And they are using Nigeria as one of the hubs that they want to take advantage of. Now, so this is where my concerns are, and I will be showing you the data shortly. What they currently export to Nigeria that will now increase very much because now they can enter Nigerian market largely duty-free. 1.37 billion UAE export to Nigeria. Let's break it down. Telephone, boiler plant, computers, equipment in general, 374 million with tariff. Vehicles, cars, delivery truck, buses, 258 million with tariff. Remember, with tariff. Refined petroleum, cement, metal product, refined petroleum is 186 million. Metal product, $112 million. Chemical product, from perfume, shaving product, anti-nut beauty product, $92 million. Remember, all these have impediment, and the impediment is the tariff. That is what is being eliminated right now. Juries, $80 million. Plastic products, ethylene polymers, styrene polymers, amino resin, rubber tires, $61.9 million. Food product, $54.6 million. Clothing materials, $34.6 million. Remember, there are impediments. The impediment were based on tariff. That's why I said, in as much as Nigerians have a lot to benefit in this agreement, Nigeria also need to be very aggressive that we take the advantage. Because it's like, if you don't take advantage, I can assure you, UAE will take advantage of their own agreement. They will. And like I said, they are very aggressive. I've shown you the data. They are very aggressive. They are very serious. You know, when I was talking to that guy, the guy I said came to Nigeria from Export Dubai. He made a statement. He said, their president don't take excuses. If they give you a task to do and they give you a target, if you're not going to do it, just resign. You're not going to come and say, we didn't meet the target because of this, because of that. Because look, no, was telling me, I was just looking at him, that look, this is a government agency, and they compete among themselves. As in government agency, they compete among themselves. They compete among themselves. So they are very serious. I can assure you, they will take advantage of this agreement. What I'm not sure of, if Nigeria will be able to take advantage of this agreement. That's what I'm not sure of. But I'll make some proposition and recommendation before I round off that I believe that can help Nigeria to take advantage of this agreement. But, you know, we have AGUA, we have, what's the name? ETLS, we have AFCFTA, and a couple of other agreements. I believe, you know, there's one saying in Yoruba that said, the problem that is affecting 20, sorry, that affecting 40 is the one affecting 300. And I think she'll go to Nisha or do the same challenge. Let me give you an example. Currently, I have a client who need ₦1 billion from Nexim. Nexim cannot give him that money right now because Nexim does not have money. So how do we grow our non-oil export when the bank that is supposed to grow export is not funded? Nexim need to be capitalized. Just the way we've done for Bank of Agriculture, that must be done for Nexim. Why? Because if the businesses are going, number one, interest rate is high, they will get a cheaper fund from Nexim, but Nexim doesn't have the money to give. They're waiting. They don't have enough money. And we are signing trade agreement. Like I said, we stand a lot to benefit, but if we don't put our house in order, this will only be one-sided agreement in which UAE take all the advantages and benefit, and we're not going to. So I'm showing you the data to see what UAE currently exports to Nigeria. If you look at the export-import, it looks very similar. There are no much difference currently. Both of them are in between $1.3, $1.4 billion in terms of our export and even their import. But I can assure you in the next 1 year, by December, by this time next year, I can assure you UAE will have done a lot to grow theirs. What I'm not sure is if we will have done the same, which is why within 24 hours of that news, we thought this was necessary to put out there. Soya beans oil, $33.4 million. $33.4 million. And then, can you hear me? I can't hear myself. So sorry, I had an issue with my network. Can, can you hear me now? I'm sure you can hear me. I can hear myself on my monitor. I didn't hear myself for a while. So like I was saying, I was just trying to emphasize how important it is for Nigeria to take advantage of this agreement and the fact that we might not benefit from this agreement if the same disposition we typically have to different agreements. I mean, just like we've had for the one I've mentioned. That's my concern. Equipment, $30 million. Paper product, $11.2 million. This is what UAE currently ship to Nigeria, in spite of impediment created by tariff. Ceramic product, $9 $9.13 million. Vegetable products, $6.5 million. Animal products, $5.23 million. Footwears, textile and leather footwears, $4 million. That is what UAE is shipping to Nigeria right now. The signing of the Comprehensive Export Partner Agreement is a double-edged sword for Nigeria. Why it opened a massive door for Nigerian agricultural export, also open Nigerian market to UAE, highly efficient manufacturing and re-export machinery. UAE has set up something. They bring in from the east, add value, process, and ship to the west. They've done that very well. They bring it in, they add value to it, and ship it to the west. So they do a lot of re-export. They do a lot of re-export. The UAE is not primarily a manufacturing hub. It's a global trading, processing, and re-export hub. Global trading, processing, and re-export hub. Therefore, the biggest risk to Nigeria is the cheap re-export and lightly processed goods. And if you look at it, if you look at the rule of origin generally, and even the rule of origin for this agreement, because I tried to check up similar agreement they've signed, even the detail of Nigeria have not been seen, but if you check all the other ones I've signed, they are similar. They can bring in value add. They can bring in value add. And like I said, they have a lot of cheap re-export and lightly processed good. And this will enter Nigeria. Industrial products, specific products, plastic, chemicals, petroleum products. This will lower cost of Nigerian factories, but compete with local petrochemical firms. This will lower cost for Nigerian factory. We will import this product, but it's going to also give petrochemical firm a good competition. Capital goods, machinery, electrical equipment, heavy machinery, UAE source machinery UAE source machinery will become much cheaper for Nigerian construction and farming. Electronic, mobile phone, computer, and broadcasting equipment, the UAE is a global re-export hub for tech. Exports expect a surge in duty-free smartphones and PCs. Consumer goods, apparel, textile, glassware, and furniture. This will be in phase 5. UAE made or finished consumer goods will become highly price competitive. Now, let's look at some of these products. Processed packaged food is a high risk. Packaged rice, cooking oil, sugar, sweetener, canned food, beverages, confectionaries. Why they will flood Nigeria? UAE import food in bulk, repackage efficiently, and re-export cheaply. Strong logistics, branding, and scale advantage, they have it. Nigerian tariff may be reduced under CEPA. So, risk to Nigeria, undercut local food processor, slow growth of Nigeria group process industry, discourage investment in local food manufacturing. These are tendencies we might see. Plastic packaging and household items, very high risk. Plastic containers, household wares, disposable packaging, light industrial plastic. Why? UAE has strong petrochemical downstream capacity. Energy costs are lower than Nigeria. They have high volume, low margin product dominate Nigerian consumer market. Risk: Nigerian SME in plastic and packaging face price pressure. Job losses in local manufacturing. Nigeria become a dumping ground for surplus production, actually. Like I said, we also have an advantage. We should take advantage of our advantage. But I'm just trying to let us see what we might expect to see in Nigerian business environment. Textile, garment, and fashion. Ready-made garments, shoes, bags, fashion accessories. Why? UAE act as a distribution hub for Asian textiles. Product may enter Nigeria labeled as UAE origin after minimal processing. Weaken Nigerian fragile textile garment revival. Increase import dependence, suppress local fashion manufacturing. Electrical and electronics. Example, consumer electronics, home electronics, mobile accessories. UAE is a regional electronic distribution hub. Remember, they buy from the east and ship to the west. Strong after-sale network and branding. Nigerian tariff may be reduced for this also. Risk, trade imbalance widened. Remember, the imbalance is very close right now, very, very close. But we'll see that widening. Local assembly initiative struggle, foreign exchange pressure increase. Automobile spare parts and tires. Used and reconditioned vehicles. In fact, I used to have a friend that does this. In fact, he will bring in vehicles, damaged vehicles from Europe and America, bring it into UAE, and then repair and ship it to Nigeria. Use and reconditioned vehicles, spare parts, tires, batteries. Why? UAE is a major used vehicle export hub. Nigeria is a key destination because we do a lot of import of Tokumbo. Risk, harm Nigeria auto assembly and component manufacturing. Ambition, environmental safety concern and balance of payment pressure. To prevent these negatives, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment must enforce strict rule of origin. Now, this is one of the areas I foresee a challenge. Strict rule of origin. Strict rule of origin. I know Nigeria was trying to set up trade remedy organization. I don't know how much of that. I've not heard a lot about that. I know that was being done during Buhari era, trade remedy organization. To be able to monitor some of this agreement we sign and ensure that products that meet the agreement are the one entering our market. So, ensure every product has a digital verifiable certificate proving it has genuinely been made and significantly transformed in UAE. We need to protect prohibition list. Nigeria has kept its import prohibition list in effect for this deal. Items like cement, flours, and some textile must remain protected. So, we need to protect that prohibition list. Invest in infrastructure. Now, UAE have fantastic infrastructure. They are able to produce efficiently and cheap. So duty-free access for machinery is only useful if Nigeria farmers and manufacturers have electricity and road needed to actually use the machinery to produce exportable products. Safeguard and anti-dumping measures. So there are clauses in CEPA to activate. I know one of the biggest challenges we have in Nigeria is monitoring. I believe the private sector, MAN, NASIMA, LCCI, and the like will be up and doing on this to be able to ensure that they keep Ministry of Trade on its toes so that we can also activate anti-dumping measures in Nigeria. Because I foresee this happening. What I'm not sure is if we'll be alert and active enough to ensure that we take advantage, we prevent this from happening to us. So, what are the products that should be of interest to us or that we should focus on as a country? Okay, someone said the policymaker on the. All right, thank you. Now, agric, high demand product, ginger, sesame seed, cashew, cocoa. Quite frankly, I must say, quite frankly, we stand a great chance for ginger, sesame seed, cashew, and cocoa. Quite frankly. And that's why I said, look, I've talked about what I think is its downside, but I will not deny the fact that UAE market is huge. The economy is times 2 of Nigeria. Their export volume is times 6 of Nigeria. Can you beat that? Can you imagine that? Their export volume is times, Nigeria export is about 60, 65. There is over 3 times 6. So Nigeria definitely stands a chance to benefit in this market, no doubt. However, it's one thing for you to have potential. It's another thing for you to maximize the potential. UAE is a global hub for re-export of this to Asia and Europe. Horticulture product, fresh fruits, spices, hibiscus flower. High demand in UAE. Thriving hospitality and tourism sector. Thriving hospitality and tourism sector. Thriving hospitality and tourism sector. And tourism sector. Seafood, smoked fish, dry food. Now, any animal product, there are certification required, like halal and the like. So we must go beyond NAFDAC, actually, for, for animal products. Immediate duty-free access for this product. Precious metal, gold. Nigeria can get it right in solid mineral sector. I know the minister is doing a lot, which is commendable, actually. I think the sector is being sanitized. Whatever you think about it, I think Dele Alake is doing a lot and doing very well in that sector. I mean, and the sector is generating money now for government. But there's something about this gold that we're not, I think because of the cabal and the powers and some of the generals that I understand are mining and moving it out are not making Nigeria get the best from gold. But we can do a lot with lithium, gold, lithium, critical minerals. UAE is one of the world's largest gold trading center. And you can see the massive, you see the data for the gold import of UAE. And Nigerian export, 1.25 billion, even though it's not reflecting on MBS data, because most of them leave Nigeria without data, without documentation. Manufacturing, furniture, apparel, footwear. Tariff on these are being phased out over the next 3 to 5 years. So high priority, processed cocoa and chocolate products. Nigeria already export cocoa. Processed form, fetch higher prices. So a lot of support is needed. Government need to support, people come into UAE a lot and they buy chocolate, there's so many kinds of chocolate you see in different markets in UAE. Nigeria can leverage on that, leveraging on this agreement. But we won't be able to take advantage of that if we don't support the cocoa sector to be able to process, which is why I said we need to revive Nexim. Nexim must be capitalized. We gave 1 trillion naira to BOA. BOA output might not translate to export if Nexim does not receive its own 1 trillion naira. I think Nexim needs a lot of money, actually, to be able to fund export so that they don't keep exporters waiting. Exporters are waiting. Everybody is queuing up because if someone does not return the money, other people will not get it. I mean, we can't be running an agency like Nexim like that, actually. I think the government needs to do something serious about funding Nexim. Cashew kernel and processed nut. UAE is a re-export and processing all for nuts. So we can take advantage of this also. Shea butter. Finished cosmetics and food grade. Demand in cosmetics and specialty food market. Sesame seed spices, dry fruits, steady UAE demand for specialty ingredients. Strategic medium term require more investment. Processed food and beverages, juice, snacks, need shelf stable and certification. Leather goods, textile and fashion. Target boutique, retail and re-export market. Fertilizer, urea, industrial input. Nigeria fertilizer capacity now. And the regional demand. UAE investor may partner. Energy minerals, already large but different channel. Someone says CEPA agreement is commendable. Another thing the UAE can do is to tighten regulation to curb high rates of scam. Very correct, Bright, very correct. In fact, I agree with you 120% because a lot of Nigerians be scammed. And it's good this guy, Bright raised that because that's a challenge in the UAE that UAE government must do. And Nigerian exporter must be weary as you deal with traders in the UAE. A number of people that do that in UAE are not Emiratis. Most of them are from Asia, Far Asia, but they use UAE as a cover to defraud people. Now, let's look at the protocol. Now, please note, the protocol, we don't have the detail yet. So what I did was to check out, if you look at this chart, you will notice that a number of countries have signed. You will see India, you will see Israel, you will see Indonesia, you will see Turkey, you will see Cambodia, you will see Georgia, you see Costa Rica, you see Mauritius. In pursuit of UAE economic objective, this is directly from UAE website. They said, we are strengthening international ties with countries around the world to build on our position as global trade hub and logistic hub. Signing competitive agreement is key to this goal. So the UAE signs first bilateral trade agreement with India on the 8th of February 2022, and aim is to deepen its ties with strategic partners around the world. This is in pursuit of UAE's Project 50, a series of bold initiatives driving nation's next phase of sustainable development. What's the benefit of CEPA? What's the benefit of CEPA? Number one, enhanced market access. Enhanced market access. Lower or eliminate tariff. Lower or eliminate tariff. Simpler custom procedure. Clear and transparent rules. And rule-based competition. And rule-based competition. The Project 50 actually is towards a roadmap for over the next 50 years. It started in September 2021 and for over the next 50 years. And one of the key pillars is comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which they have been making a lot of progress in this regard. So look at the people that have signed. UAE, Costa Rica have signed CEPA. UAE, Mauritius have signed CEPA. UAE, Serbia have signed CEPA. UAE, Jordan have signed CEPA. UAE, New Zealand have signed CEPA. UAE, Australia have signed CEPA. UAE, Malaysia have signed CEPA. UAE, Chile have signed CEPA. UAE, India have signed CEPA. That was the first one. UAE, Israel have signed CEPA. UAE, Indonesia have signed CEPA. UAE, Turkey have signed CEPA. UAE, Cambodia have signed CEPA. UAE, Georgia have signed CEPA. And UAE, Nigeria have signed CEPA. Even though the detail of the agreement rule of origin is not fully published, but similar ones signed with other countries give us ideas. So I'll be using that as the basis for the conversation I'll be having next about the rule of origin. This gives us an idea, but similar ones with other countries give us idea of the detail of the content of rule of origin, and this is what I'll be highlighting in this session. Now, under this agreement, you know, for those of us that are familiar with rule of origin, you know, globally, trade agreement is useless without rule of origin, because that means someone else can take advantage of it beside the countries that really that signed. So under the UAE, Nigeria UAE commercial agreement signed January 13, the rule of origin and legal criteria used to determine if a product is Nigerian enough to qualify for 0% or reduced tariff. Without meeting this, your goods will be charged the standard most favored nation duties of UAE, which is 5%. The three primary qualification routes to benefit from this: number one, wholly produced product. Of course, this is the simplest category, reserved for products that have no foreign input. So plant harvested in Nigeria, live animals, mineral extracted from Nigerian soil, fish caught in Nigerian flag vessels, raw ginger in Kaduna, for example, smoked fish raised, catfish raised in Nigeria pond, for example, a good example of this. These apply to products. Now, the second one, product exclusively for Nigerian origin. This applies to product made in Nigeria using only ingredients that already qualify as originated from Nigeria. Nigerian-made seasoning blend, where every single component like spices, salt, and packaging are produced from Nigeria. Product-specific rule for non-originating material. If you use raw material from third countries, you must substantially transform them. This is measured in two ways. Number one, change in tariff classification. This is a very standard, what's the name? Rule of origin criteria. The imported material must change HS code. Typically, they look at the tariff heading or subheading. That's the first four numbers of HS code. So, for example, raw cocoa from Ghana converted into Nigeria manufactured chocolate. Regional content, regional value content. Most processed goods under UAE CEPA requirement require a minimum of 35 to 40% local value addition. So if you are saying you're adding value, That means after adding value, the price of that product. That means if you bring in an item from another country and you add value to it, the value, the cost price must now be at least 10 to 40% more than what it used to be. As of 2026, Nigerian government already moved for 30% minimum value addition for all items exported from the country, particularly raw material exported from the country. Now, insufficient working, what does not qualify? The 2026 agreement explicitly lists operations that are too simple to confer origin status. You cannot get zero tariff by simply packaging, placing bulk into bottles or boxes. Preservation, chilling, freezing, and dusting. Simple assembly, putting together a few parts to make a whole. Cleaning, sifting, washing, this will not qualify. Required documentation to claim what's the name? Certificate of origin. Now, detail of this is not out. Currently, we get certificate of origin from NACIMA. But I suspect that this will go beyond NACIMA. I don't know yet. So I'm not sure of the certificate of origin source. But from other people that have signed, other countries, typically, they also have a digital QR coded certificate of origin. So maybe there'll be a platform where this can be generated that UAE already built, since they don't sign the agreement to everybody, so that when you ship and you send the document to your buyer, they can easily scan it at the terminal, at the custom rather, and if it qualifies, just go in without any disturbance. The only declaration, only for approved exporters who have a track record of compliance, they can specify origin and their commercial invoice. So in terms of documentation, I can't be very exact. I'm just speculating based on what other countries that have signed are doing. We don't know how Nigeria is going to handle it, but I'm sure the Ministry of Trade, NEPC, Custom, and the like are going to come up with a framework very soon, and then we'll be able to know exactly how to get certificate of origin for this particular agreement. Local value, 35% export, 40% FOB. Traceability must show direct consignment. Good must go directly from Nigeria to UAE. Processing must go beyond insufficient working, like simple repackaging. And verification must hold a valid, verifiable, QR coded certificate of origin. Now, like I said, this is this way it's currently working in other countries, and I suspect that's also the way it's going to work in Nigeria. Before I round off, problem. Now, look at the export process: preparation, promotion, purchase order, procurement and production, packaging and labeling, pre-export documentation, port clearance and inspection, post-export documentation, port-to-port shipment, presentation of document, port clearance and inspection, payment. This is a steps process, in our opinion, that typically any trade transaction in the world will go through. Now, the certificate of origin will be required around 6 before shipment, so that when you ship, it can also be sent as part of the post-export document that will be required to clear. That means at the point of preparation, you should be clear on what is required of you for your product for the UAE market. And that's very important. And number 4 is critical, because it is at that point, that's what will determine whether your product is qualified. Your raw material, where is it coming from? The product you want to ship, where is it coming from? Is it meeting the roof of origin criteria? But also, one of the reasons why AGUA, ETLS, and probably AFCFTA, I don't want to judge AFCFTA yet, can fail, or why AGUA, ETLS failed to a large extent, AFCFTA, I pray should not go that route, failing, is the issue of preparation. And I think it's also important that government take this very seriously, and even individual exporter. When I say preparation, I mean export readiness. What is export readiness? Currently in Nigeria, Nigerian total exporter, the legal one, are just about 1,500. If you add the illegal to it, maybe about 2,000. Maybe about 2,000. We've not seen the data for this year. We're waiting for NEPC. It's maybe about 2,000 number of exporters. I mean, individual exporters exporting from Nigeria. So number one, we need to increase the number of exporters, but we need to also get them ready. What is export readiness? It's a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a company to successfully enter the export market, sustainably compete in the market, and significantly grow its market share until it becomes established in the market. What are the evidence of lack of export readiness? Delays, demurrage. Demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container beyond the free period while the container is the custody of the shipping line. Delay, demurrage, discrepancies, defect in goods, deaths of knowledge, debt, losses, and dropout. Now you see this debt of knowledge is a big challenge. It's a big challenge. Lack of understanding of the detail of the agreement can be a reason why the agreement is not being maximized. If people don't understand the agreement, then it becomes difficult for them to take advantage of the agreement. Even though the agreement is there for them, but they need to take advantage of it. Why? Because they do not understand it. Now, I talked about ETLS. I talked about ETLS and AGOA. And I understand AGOA might be renewed. I understand the House of Rep in US have approved it. I don't know if Trump will sign. Well, I saw a news saying that it might be renewed, but it's not just the renewal, it's that are we going to be able to take advantage of it? That's the real issue. To take advantage of a free trade agreement, it's important that the people understand the program, the product to be shipped under the agreement, the profit or the opportunity available, the potential, how to promote and get purchasers, the paperwork required to enjoy rule of origin and duty-free access, the payment method. You know, there are some, let me say something about UAE. A number of buyers in UAE don't want to give letter of credit. I was talking to a buyer recently, and I was telling me that it's 20% to give letter of credit. In Nigeria, it's just 1% or 1.5%. How can it be 20%? I said, I have a friend that left StanChart in Nigeria to StanChart UAE. I chatted him. Guy, what's happening? How much do you guys charge to issue LC? Said the is 1% now, 1.5%. Ha. I now came back to this guy. Why are you telling me it's 20%, 15%? When a banker in UAE is telling me, averagely in UAE, it's not even up to 2%. He was now telling me, now, I'm saying all that. He was not giving an excuse, now trying to re-explain it. Ladies and gentlemen, please be wary of buying UAE. In fact, my recommendation to the government of Nigeria, through NEPC, should help Nigeria with a mechanism to verify buyers we are dealing with in UAE. Else, those guys are going to mess up this agreement. And I'm hoping that NEPC get to hear about this. They will mess up this agreement. I said, why will you be saying, can you say it's 15%? Now I verify from a banker that it's not even up to 2% because I was going to offer to pay. And that's what I recommend to my client. If you can get an LC from a country and they say, oh, they don't want to pay the charge, okay, I will make 15% or 20% on this transaction. Charge it to my account. Charge it to my account. That means deduct the 1%, 2% from the payment. So give me the LC and deduct it from my payment. Because at the end of the day, it secures me. Now, I'm saying all that to say that it's so important for you to be able to know the challenge of payment in the UAE. The challenge of payment in the UAE. So critical and so important. Someone said CEPA agreement is commendable. Another thing, UAE. Okay, I've read this before. Now, the policy and procedures involved, and of course, the people to talk to. I'm hoping there will be communication from Ministry of Trade on this and NEPC in the coming days to be able to leverage on this. But like I said, I can assure you, UAE is good. I'm going to monitor that data to see what happens. To see what happens by 2027, 1 year after, how much UAE have leveraged on this agreement and what Nigeria has done. Main trade barrier likely to hinder Nigeria in the UAE. Sanitary and phytosanitary measures and food safety standard. I've mentioned scammers. It's a major issue, but these are barriers. But those ones are, if you verify, you can bypass those scammers and some of those, which exist in other countries anyway, not just UAE, only that a number of them are coming into UAE, leveraging on the credibility of the country. UAE require health certificate, sometimes halal certificate, and strict labeling for food. Non-compliant shipment will be rejected. Quality container and packaging. UAE buyer expect consistent batches, attractive retail packaging. I'm sure you've seen it in the stores for those of us that can go to UAE regularly. Shelf lives and traceability. Custom paperwork and documentation delay. Slow or incomplete export document cause rejection or delay. But if your documents are in order, it's going to be within 24 hours, your good will be cleared because they are very efficient, actually. Rule of origin and tariff condition under CEPA. Exporter must meet CEPA rule of origin to assess the preferences. Many SME won't meet this technical requirement initially. Of course, that's where we need support of the government. That's definitely where we need the support of the government. Competition and intermediary market structure. UAE is a major export of Nigerian product will compete with lower cost suppliers and established brand. Logistics and cold chain gap. Perishable goods need reliable cold chain. Lack of it will cause losses, and there's good demand in that market. And then perception and market trust compliance concern. Buyer may require certification allowed GMP, ISO, social compliance, ESG, depending on their preferences in the market. Before we close, here's my proposal to the government. Number one, it's important the government get Nigerian businesses export ready, particularly SMEs. Get them export ready. Get them export ready. The promoter needs to be ready. The product needs to be ready. The pricing needs to be ready. The presentation of the staff and purpose for going global must be evaluated for readiness. Even the company capacity in terms of the positioning, goodwill, payment, raising money to pay and getting paid after shipment, understanding payment method, production capacity, proficiency, and promotion. Understanding the market, the UAE market itself, which I've tried to talk about in this session, the people, the paperwork requirement, and the potential. And having partners in that market will be fantastic because that makes it a lot easier to assess the market than doing due diligence, for example, and of course the purchaser. All this evaluation can be done. You can do this on 3thinkpest.com. You can use this QR code or visit 3thinkpest.com to be able to do that evaluation. After doing the evaluation, you will be assessed. 90 and above is export ready. 70 to 89 are almost ready. Almost ready means there are areas you need to fix and you can start exporting. But export ready means you can actually start exporting immediately. But midway to ready, just starting and preparing to start, should not go ahead yet. Why? The reason is simple. If you go ahead, you increase the chance of losses. Why? Because you are not export ready. Because you are not export ready. So I would recommend you consider doing the export readiness assessment. Like I said, it's an assessment that is free. I will drop the link for you to do that assessment free on the chat. So if you click on that link, you can do the assessment and you get a report on PDF in your mail, and it's free, so you can always do an assessment of your business for export. To overcome the barrier, export readiness, export readiness, export readiness. NEPC has a lot to do in this regard. Sorry, Bright, I've dropped the link. I've dropped the link. Thank you very much. I've dropped the link. NEPC have a lot to do in this regard. So a training on UAE import rule, required document, halal, NAFDA processes, buyer expectation is critical. One-stop shop export documentation for UAE. Just for UAE. We must be very deliberate this time around. I really would be glad to see Nigeria take advantage of the opportunity in UAE. Remember, this is a market times 2 of Nigeria with a demand that is times 6 of Nigeria export. Targeted, even though the population is 10 million, targeted quality upgrade, subsidized basic packaging lines and vacuum seal equipment, priority for cocoa, nut, and share products. These are agricultural products that really, really will do a lot well in this market based on what they currently import. Based on what they currently import. Private public platform that list, look at that word, vetted UAE importer. Vetted UAE importer. Vetted UAE importer. Freight forwarder and retail chain. So exporter can find partners. If government does not do this, it's going to be a wasted effort at the end of the day if we don't do something about it. Because people ship and they are being defrauded, then nobody will be interested again. And I think it's something the UAE government and Nigeria government must take very seriously. So list of vetted buyers will be a good one to help Nigeria with. Support processing cluster and cold chain. Build export packaging houses near production zone to consolidate, grade and certify shipment. Negotiate, simplify rule of origin implementation and technical assistance with UAE and CEPA. So, under CEPA, so small producer can meet threshold. Trade finance. This is the biggest for me. This is the biggest for me. Enable SME to get pre-export financing and export credit insurance. And export credit insurance. So that even if they get open account, they will still be able to ship and they will not have to worry about their payment. Look, if the government do not do something about this, CEPA will go the way of ETLS and AGUA. And it will be very sad because I think we need to do something. This is one of the major trade agreements that this administration is signing. And I think they should need to do something different from what other administrations have done in the past. Recapitalization of Nexim Bank is highly indispensable if Nigeria is going to maximize this agreement. Apart from having credit insurance so that people can take on open account. By the way, open account, for those of you that are familiar with payment method in international trade, is 85% of global trade. Last year, we are waiting for data of last year. 2024, according to WTO, $33 trillion global trade, $33 trillion, $9 trillion trade in services, 24 trillion trade in goods, 24 trillion. 85% of the 24 trillion, 85% of the 24 trillion, that's about 20 trillion, is open account. Why are countries able to do that? Many countries have export credit insurance. So even if they get open account, they are able to protect their people. So the people will not decline trade offer because of open account, because they already have buy export credit insurance from the like of export credit agency like Nexim in their country. We don't have export credit insurance with Nexim Bank in Nigeria. They don't even have enough funds to give the loan and guarantees, talk less of giving export credit insurance. So my appeal to the government or any policymaker on this call, or those that will see this on our YouTube channel eventually, is that we must recapitalize Nexim Bank if we are going to maximize the opportunity in the UAE market. Brand and market asset program. Fund quality marks made in Nigeria, UAE approved and run in market promotion in Dubai Food Fairs, Investopedia, and Dubai Expo. Now, so this is now time. February, Gulf Food will hold again. This is a good time to attend Gulf Food. Government should support a lot of people going there. And the people going there that the government is supporting should be people that will do the transaction. You know, Nigeria will do a lot of man, no man. All right. Mutual recognition certificate. Push UAE to recognize Nigeria approved labs. So, for example, we have ACAC. ACAC is African Quality Assurance Center. They should begin to recognize such certification so that if we get a certification from ACAC or that ISO certified lab in Nigeria, it's recognized in UAE. and allow bodies to reduce document friction. Dictate certificate of issuance like e-FITO. E-FITO will be a very good one. E-FITO will be a very, very good one. So health certificate and origin document transmit electronically to UAE authorities with faster clearance. As I conclude, I'd like to say to everyone that in this era of protectionism around the world, orchestrated by Trump of America, if we want to diversify our economy, grow our GDP, create employment, if we want to boost our foreign reserve, if we want to increase the value of Naira versus other currencies of the world, aggressive drive for regional and bilateral trade agreement like CEPA with UAE is the way to go. Thank you very much. All right, let me take some questions for those that want to ask questions or comment. Those on the call, if you have questions, you can indicate by raising up your hand. Question, comment before we round off. And thank you for joining, by the way. Thank you very much, everybody that create time to join in spite of the short time. I think I dropped the link this morning and we have over 20 on the call. Any question or comment on this agreement before we close? Any question or comment? Yes, Elwin, go ahead. Elwin, I've asked you to unmute.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Expert doctor. And thank you for these highlights and exposure to the recent signed bilateral agreement between Nigeria and UAE.
Thank you.
My question goes to visa application. I don't know if they also talk about
yes,
that.
there is an agreement on that. There's something on that.
Okay.
I'm sure if you make an inquiry for Ministry of Trade, they allow registration of businesses, visa that give access to 90-day stay for over a period of 1 year. There is something around visa because, of course, I'm not sure anything will happen without that. It was in it. I saw it.
I would love to visit the UAE and meet these customers in person, other than online. I've encountered so many of them on the frauding pipeline, trying to exhaust what the little ones we have here. So I would love to.
So I think you just reach out to Ministry of Trade or NEPC. I'm sure you should be able to get information on that. But there is a provision for visa application and businesses coming to set up there.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Does CEPA have this resolution provision like investors are? But yeah, I won't be able to say. Like I said, I've not seen the one for Nigeria signed. I'm just working particularly on the detail of what's the name of the rule of origin. I use the one because I expect that it to be similar. But I can't remember seeing that on the agreement, but I've not seen the one of Nigeria. I'm hoping to be available very soon. Why are the key metrics? Why are the key metrics in verified? Okay, what are the key metrics in verified buyer? Okay, number one, evidence of their registration in UAE. Number two, evidence of the fact that they regularly do shipment, like bill of lading. Number three, evidence of being a member of a chamber in the UAE. So if they are already been in business and you can verify the people they've done business with and even have conversation with them and get a good responses, that would be a good one to consider. Among other things, I'm sure if you check online also, you should be able to get some other information. But I think government coming into help on this will help also. Okay, I can see the hand of Alicia. Alicia, go ahead, please. Alicia, you've been asked to unmute. Alicia, are you there? Someone said, evidence or registered in UAE, bill of lading, previous shipment, registration with chamber. Yes. How can one start export of processed cashew nut to UAE? Shukura, we have an export mentoring program you can consider. Maybe I will show you the detail of the mentoring program before we round off. But we have an export mentoring program you can consider if you are looking at going into export business. Alicia, can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good afternoon.
Go ahead. Alicia, sorry, I was trying to ask you to unmute. I muted you again. Can you unmute now? I've asked you to do that again. I'll be waiting for you.
Okay.
Okay, you've done that. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. My company is Fresh and Natural Farming Limited. We produce dehydrated vegetables and tasty
Okay.
fish powder. Yeah, I want to find out, apart from halal, what other certifications are there for food products that are to be sent to UAE?
You will need phytosanitary because your product is plant product. Phyto,
Yeah.
and some might require pesticide residue. Pesticide residue. But I mean, I'm just talking off top of my head based on the knowledge of the market I have. But by the time you have a buyer and you're talking to a buyer, I'm sure halal will not be required because it's not animal product, but phyto will be
It's
required
not.
definitely, and pesticide residue might also be required to check the quality. I mean, general quality of the product, pesticide residue, moisture level, and a number of other information like that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All
I'm
right,
grateful.
madam.
It's been
Thank you
a
very
very
much.
educative program.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Any other question before we close and get back to work? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being able to join us this morning. The video will be on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is, let me see if I can drop the link to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Global Trade Tutor and Voice of African Trade. Global Trade Tutor and Voice of African Trade. I've dropped the link to our YouTube channel in case you need to go back and check the link to our YouTube channel. But if you check Global Trade Tutor or Voice of African Trade, you will definitely be able to gain access to the recording online. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good morning. Okay, sorry, good afternoon rather, and bye-bye.